What is it? Programming is basically explaining to a computer what you want it to do for you.
When you're programming, you're teaching possibly the stupidest thing in the entire universe, a computer, how to do something.
Programming is one of the only things in the world that you can do where you can sit down and just make something completely new from scratch, whatever you want.
It's really not unlike kind of playing an instrument or something, or playing a sport. It starts out being very intimidating, but you kind of get the hang of it over time.
Coding is something that can be learned, and I know it can be intimidating. A lot of things are intimidating, but what isn't?
A lot of the coding that people do is actually fairly simple. It's more about the process of breaking down problems than sort of coming up with complicated algorithms as people traditionally think about it.
Well, if it's fairly simple, why aren't there more of us doing it? Over the next 10 years, there will be 1.4 million jobs in computer science, and only about 400,000 grads qualified for those jobs. That's a shortage of 1 million people. So how do you start?
I was obsessed with maps when I was a kid, and cities specifically. So I taught myself how to program. I had a very clear goal of what I wanted to do, which is to see a map of the city on my screen and play with it. Put things on the map, move things around the map. See what was happening in the city, how it worked, how it lived, how it breathed.
The best early thing was actually using software to decide when the classes in my school would meet, and that put me in a position to decide which girls were in my class.
The first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
The first time I actually had something come up and say, hello world, and I made a computer do that. It was just astonishing.
When I finally learned a little bit of programming, that blank wall resolved into a bunch of doors, and you open them, and finally you start to open enough doors that the light comes in. And to me, a finished program is like a structure filled with light. All the corners are illuminated. You understand the structure of it. It's a really serene feeling to have completed that.
It took me some time to realize that creating things with your hands or creating code, creating programs, is just a different way to express creativity. I think right now there's a big emergence of the culture of making. People who make their own scarves and hats, people who write their own apps.
Now it's just limited by your imagination and sort of what kinds of ideas what kind of understanding can you build into the computer so that it can do these things that were previously impossible.
All great things are built in teams when you collaborate with other smart people.
You're testing your ideas, you're stimulating each other. That's what makes us successful. It's not some flash of brilliance by somebody who then codes 24 hours a day for 3 weeks. It's what happened. The magic happens when we're all on the same page, collaborating and building something together.
There's a much greater need in the world for engineers and people who can write code than there will ever be supply. And so we all live these very charmed lives. To get the very best people, we try to make the office as awesome as possible.
We have a fantastic chef,
Free food,
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
free laundry,
snacks, even places to play and video games and scooters. There's all these kind of interesting things around the office and places where people can play or relax or go to think or play music or be creative.
I went on the Bureau of Labor Statistics for the United States, and there's about a third of the pie that's all the things you would expect. It's, they're working in the government, they're working in typical technology jobs. But then, like, the rest of the pie, and it was the majority of the pie, just split down into these little teeny slices of every industry imaginable. And what it is, computers are everywhere. You want to work in agriculture? Do you want to work in entertainment? Do you want to work in manufacturing? It's just all over.
Here we are, 2013. We all depend on technology to communicate, to bank, information, and none of us know how to read and write code.
So you guys, what else? Who else has an idea of what we can change with our programming? What else can we do? Tiffany? What I saw my students take away from using Scratch and programming in our classroom is that they were willing to push through problems. It really builds critical thinking, it builds problem solving, and it's something that they can then apply to math in the classroom or their reading skills. We integrated science with this programming, and I saw my scores go up 30%.
When I was in school, I was in this after-school group called the Whiz Kids. And when people found out, they laughed at me and, all these things. And I'm like, man, I don't care. I think it's cool. And, I'm learning a lot. And some of my friends have jobs.
It's important for these kids. It should be mandatory to be a citizen on this planet, to read and write code.
I just think you have to start small, right? And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about computer science and programming overall is that you have to learn this big body of information before you can do anything.
You don't have to be a genius to know how to code. You need to be determined.
Addition, subtraction, that's about it.
You should probably know your multiplication tables.
You don't have to be a genius to code. Do you have to be a genius to read? Do you have to be a genius to do math? No? No?
I think if someone had told me that software is really about humanity, that it's really about helping people by using computer technology, it would have changed my outlook a lot earlier.
Whether you're trying to make a lot of money or whether you just want to change the world, computer programming is an incredibly empowering skill to learn.
To be able to actually come up with an idea and then see it in your hands and then be able to press a button and have it be in millions of people's hands. I think we're the first generation in the world that's really ever had that kind of experience.
The programmers of tomorrow are the wizards of the future. You're going to look like you have magic powers compared to everybody else.
I think it's amazing. I think it's the closest thing we have to a superpower.
Great coders are today's rock stars. That's it.
We're back. So how did you like the video? You watched it for the first time this morning. So what are your thoughts on that video?
I thought, it's very informative. It's very, I think, eye-opening where coding can take you. It helps you see how people are using coding in so many different ways, to help change the world, because you can really do change the world, So I thought it was just extremely interesting to see just where you can take it.
Yeah.
All the possibilities.
It's like one of those videos that really kind of wraps up in a nice basket and talks about the importance of it. So, Hour of Code, very important.
Yep.
Computer Science Week, those are the two reasons why we're doing this live feed tonight, to celebrate that, get the word out, and to challenge you guys to ask your teachers and train your kids. And
spread the word, get it out there. In the video, obviously, it showed we are in dire need
Yes.
of programmers and coders and stuff.
Yep.
Like, it is such a huge opportunity for kids to get into. It's a great career, great money, everything like that. So,
Yep.
I mean, it's...
And that's the reason why it pays so well, because the demand is so high.
Yep.
So
get out there, we need you. So
yes.
start coding.
Exactly. So, and the last third reason why we're here tonight is the progress that we're making on building a coding school in downtown Cheyenne.
Yes.
We're starting one. It's still in the preliminary phases, but the idea has some really great people behind it.
Yep.
We spent, I would say, 6 or 8 months kind of getting everything together. But the dream would be able to be is to have a coding school located somewhere in downtown Cheyenne where we can invite all ages to come,
Yes.
take classes, learn about programming, learn how to build apps, learn how to build video games, and get these people ready and trained enough to provide a workforce
Yep.
for local businesses in Cheyenne, and then also to attract new businesses,
Yes.
new technology business. They need a new technology business to come to Cheyenne. There needs to be a workforce that they can tap into, and so
Yep.
right now there's obviously
There's
Cheyenne.
no
there's-
reason.
No, it's like trickling.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're trying to do here, and that's kind of the third reason. And so what we would like you to do is either now or at the end of the live feed is to go to bit.ly/codeyofeedback. That way, you can let us know about this live feed, but also let us
Yes.
know if you would be interested if we did more of these live streams, and then also would you be interested in a coding school in
Yes.
downtown Cheyenne?
And we're hoping to get that started. I think it would be something amazing to happen for Cheyenne.
Yes.
And I mean, that was the whole reason why you left Cheyenne to begin with. And that's what is happening with a lot of our youth,
Yep.
is that they're leaving Cheyenne because they don't have the opportunities here. It's not because the city's not a good place to live or raise a family or anything like that. It's just the opportunities are other places, so that's where they go. So if we could get this started here, we can keep the youth here and really get this city started.
Yes, so help us out and go to that link and
Yes.
submit that form, and will help us out. So that's why we're here. And now let's talk about the tools that you're just about to see. So the first tool that we've talked about is the Unity 3D game engine. It's a free download at unity3d.com. And this is the engine that we are going to use in tonight's demonstration, and what we also use in professional game making.
Yep.
Many of the top tier games are made in Unity. It's a great community, a great engine. Like this beautiful image of this guy on the couch was their promotional image. But so the first tool we're using tonight is the Unity 3D game engine. When you download Unity 3D, you're also going to get another application called Mono Develop.
Yes.
And it's actually called the Mono Develop IDE. So now start getting your brain ready to soak in new information. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. So when you see Haley and I, we're going to be jumping back and forth between Unity, which is the visual side of the game engine, where we're dragging objects and creating spheres and things like that. Then the screen that you see here is Mono Develop, which is the coding screen.
Yes, the big white screen.
Big white screen. This is where you
Oh.
type in the stuff to make things happen in the game scene. So we're going to be in Mono Develop, and that is also free and comes packaged with Unity, because you can't run Unity without Mono Develop. So
You need coding.
you need coding. Yeah, you need coding. And then the last thing that we're going to be needing tonight is a fresh mind and positive attitude as we go into and learning some of these concepts. Like I said, some things may go wrong, and do not panic about not understanding everything. We don't have obviously a lot of time to go into depth about these things, but maybe hopefully it'll just connect some dots and see if it's something that you would be interested in.
Yes, get you interested, and then later on, hopefully you can use some of the resources and get started yourselves.
Exactly. All right, so shall we begin the journey?
Oh, dear.
Let us begin. Let's see how we do. All right, so what's going to happen now? Let's see. Let me just check chat before we jump in. So, hey, Gavin, how you doing? Awesome. Just signed up for Python classes online.
Hey, that's awesome.
That's great. So Python's another coding language. The language that we're going to be coding in tonight is C#.
Yes.
So the two languages that, let me just switch back to the bigger screen. The two languages that you can use inside of Unity is either JavaScript or C#. And so we've opted to do C#. And Python is another popular language. And we'll go over in our resources page. There's a lot of places online to learn how to program. So you don't necessarily have to go to a university or get a degree.
And a lot of them are free. Yep.
So including this training here.
Yeah.
How amazing, right? Okay, so I think, are we ready to begin?
I think so.
All right, so what's going to happen is I'm going to hand it over to my sister Haley, and she's going to launch Unity, and she's going to basically get our little scene created, just ready for me, and then I'm going to come in and we're going to start basically taking some of these things and making it come to life. So
Yes.
by the end goal is that we're going to have a plane with a sphere, and then when I hit the up arrow key, I can give it some force, and we can kind of see how we can move 3D objects using nothing but programming.
Code. Yep.
So, all right, so are you ready? Let me switch to our desktop here. We can get rid of Keynote for now, and let's move this out of the way so you guys don't see ourselves. Okay, and I'll move this over here, and I do believe, Haley, you should be ready to go.
All right.
All right, so